I mean, I should probably click this button over here that says watch the stream because I don't know what's going on. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Whiskey Untitled, where today we're going to be talking about whiskey flavors, what you're tasting, what's going on, and what's good. I get the feeling that since one of us was also at an event yesterday, we'll be talking a little bit about that. And odds are good that it's not centered. Crazy. Odds are really good that today's topic is going to blow your mind a little. Just a little, not a lot, just a little. So grab your favorite whiskey and join us, won't you? Come on. Do it. Start wherever you want. This is
why not? Let's do with the Triforce one.
The Triforce. We're going to get the right software for Bianca because
it's fine. It's not bad.
Bad is a relative term. Look at the lighting.
Okay. Want me to fix the lighting right now?
We can't.
It'd be fine.
It's pre-show business or post-show business, but it is not. Do show business during show, whatever the word is for while you're doing it. I'm done. I'm done talking today.
All right.
Somebody please take over before I hurt myself.
Don't worry about it. All right. So we're trying to figure out what was this week's topic. I think it was like a couple of weeks ago, Bianca noted about tasting notes and stuff like that, and then she just had an event. So I'm hoping they had some tasting notes. But I thought that would be a great topic this week. So but first, since it's the whiskey show, and since Wally's on the far end of that corner right there, what is in your glass, Wally?
You wish you knew what was in my glass. I'll tell you what's in my glass.
What's in your glass, my friend? What do we got?
Ooh, I have yet to try that one. That looks so good.
It's not available in America, that's why.
Is that why?
Yeah, not available in America yet. I've been informed that it's supposed to come next year.
Because they have a 12-year-old that was at 16. Oh, no, not 19. And then there's supposed to be a higher one, right? A 23 or something?
12, 14, 19, and 26. The other one's already here in America, but this 19's not here yet. Ooh, don't forget to control scroll wheel up.
So how did you get it?
My brother ordered it from the UK for my birthday, which was months ago now. But yeah, I finally opened it because I said I wanted to open it with him on the whiskey show. So
fair enough. How do you like it so far?
That's awesome.
I actually live recorded behind the scenes for Instagram TV, and it's incredible. It's I didn't know what to expect, and it blew my mind. So
that's good. And then since you said it's going to come out soon, so that sounds like something that you might want to at least try before you buy.
Oh, I'm gonna buy another one as soon as it comes out.
Damn. All right, Bianca, what's in your glass?
I'll definitely get one too. Okay, so this one's a really special one. I don't know if you guys can recognize it, you and Wally. So actually, when you both went to Scotland, I asked Wally to grab me some bottles for me, and he did. He's so nice. And he grabbed this one, and I'm really excited. And it's been over a year, like a year and a half since I've had it. I've never tried it, so I figure, well, why not?
Yeah,
right
why
now,
not?
today, now that I've started to co-host. This is my first time. I literally look like it's completely full.
So for people, so that's the sound. Which one's that one? Sorry, I can't read it from there.
I'm gonna pour it right in front of you. Wait, it's Jura the sound.
The sound, gotcha. Was that a?
So I do like Jura. A lot of people know this.
Was that an airport release or travel?
Yes, it was exclusive. A travel retail.
Yeah, travel.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. And it's not peated. Or if it is, it doesn't nose it so far. I don't know.
Hello, Christian.
I'm learning.
And hello, Eric.
And Cody. You gotta say hello, Cody.
Hey guys.
And Drew. Hey guys.
Charles, you should use the control scroll wheel trick.
I don't know if it works because it didn't work earlier. See? I'm trying it.
Are you clicking on that window though?
Yeah, bro.
Man.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I'm gonna have to, in order to read the comments, if you see me get really close to the screen, and hopefully this is not an awkward angle, it's because I'm trying to read.
It's perfectly fine. I can always.
This is the only time I'm wearing
switch it
glasses.
over.
You could just bring the size of the words up a little bit. There's got to be a trick to make it work every time, Charles.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I honestly don't know.
No, you have to. It's part of the window,
Well,
not part
Charles
of
is
the
trying to
back,
fix
so you
the
have to-
size.
it's gone. It's gone. You killed it. There, use just use
So in
control
the
or
back
alt to
end,
like
everyone,
increase the size. I
Charles
don't know.
is trying to
They can't.
resize
They can't see that.
They can't see. They can't see what's happening.
I know.
And thanks for
I can't fix it,
transitioning.
So it's just a big picture in my head.
Yeah, no worries. For
On the
me,
plus
since thanks
side,
you guys for showing me, asking
What's
what
in
I'm
your
doing.
glass,
There you
Charles?
go. It's the Highland
Okay,
Park
so what are you
full
what are you
volume.
drinking, Charles?
Ooh-wee.
Since we're
Yes,
talking about
sir.
tasting notes, I thought this was the
I
a
already
great bottle.
know what tasting notes you're getting right now, friend.
That looks
So,
good.
I'm excited about this. I'm sad that I don't have a second bottle because I'm almost halfway done now. So,
I mean, I'm sad I don't have a fourth bottle.
and to add on to
Wait.
what Bianca did, I think we got these glasses in Scotland, little
We
smaller
did,
ones.
in
So
I didn't, but you did.
Nice.
I took it with me. Sorry, Highland Park.
Correct.
Look at that.
But yes,
That's fine. They mailed me a bunch. Just
There you
pretend
go.
I mailed you one.
there you go. There you
Yeah, we're
go.
all
Bianca bringing the
drinking
viewers.
out of fancy glasses.
But
Nice.
yeah, guys. Anything new? I know
Yeah.
Bianca's got a story to tell, but any new bottles by any chance first before
Yes,
we?
I have 3 new bottles.
All right, Wally, go up, man. What you got?
Should I tell you about these 3 new bottles?
Yeah, go for
Why
it.
can't we make the chat bigger? I don't know what's
Yes.
happening with my life. Glenmorangie cake is the first one.
Yes.
I
It's
I
so
want-
good.
No, it's not. It is. So since I don't like it, which is yes,
It's
yes,
the opposite.
It's fine by
I'm-
me.
I know
So-
your brother's name. I'm your brother's name. Brother's team.
So this is no good. All right.
Okay,
the-
why? You gotta say
Okay.
why.
So I don't like it because
And I
love
love it. I love it.
actually like Tokai quite a bit, and Tokai is like a super delicious dessert wine. It's like a rustic version of Sauternes. It's very very delicious. This carries none of that. I don't like. You can taste Tokai type notes a little bit on the front, and then it turned into a giant thing of mint for me, and I was like, I guess we're selling young now.
Wait, you
So-
don't like the mint?
At $50, I would be like, this is decent, but at $100, I'm like, give me back $50.
50. So you think the price point's good at 50?
I didn't taste the mint.
I think it's all I could taste. This is going to be one of those cilantro things. Like, some people taste soap, some people taste cilantro.
Yeah.
So,
What are you, Bianca? What's your thought on it?
Mm.
Because you've had it too.
She loves it.
So I had it twice. So I don't love it. It's not my favorite, the Glenmorangie. I do like the experience about it. I do like the story behind it. I liked it when I actually.
Is it me or she's breaking up?
she's breaking up a lot. She's frozen right now, which is cool because she throws on a good face. So anybody who's
it's like it's a
looking-
bad face.
looking at her
This way.
face right here, you can see it's very frozen. And so I'm gonna tell you what Bianca's saying right now. So I really loved the cake and the experience
Yep.
that I had with the man. She's frozen forever. I was just
Yes.
joking. I thought it would
I'm
just
gonna
be a
s-
second that.
I'll
Man,
bring back
she's
the
like,
old school stuff while
what
she.
poop is
I'm gonna
going
disconnect
on.
and reconnect.
Oh,
All right.
oh, she just came back. She just came.
No,
Oh
she's
my
fine. She's fine.
gosh.
You're good. There you go. Go.
What happened?
Well, I think
All
you
did was
sabotaged her.
move my desk like
We-
1 inch.
We
to the
talked
back.
about how this would not work.
She's gonna bring an Nectar Dior with the
I know,
age
I know. I'm
statement.
sorry. Listen, everyone watching, I'm the least technical person.
Don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
one glass man,
I
100%
wish I-
agree.
But yeah, so overall, you enjoyed it, like,
Mhm.
but you said it wasn't your favorite. Is what you're trying to get at.
Yeah, so I think, but I like what they did with it. I was excited, to be honest with you, to see Glenmorangie do something. And this is the second time that they've kind of surprised me. It was the 15, I forgot the name of it, which came out with the bourbon cask. I had it over here.
The cad
Grab
ball.
it.
The cad ball.
Yes, that one.
You need to
never
move
remember that
because I
name.
know your internet connection
That
is going
one
to just drop
also-
again. Like that. I called it.
Okay, I'm not gonna move. I'm not moving. I'm not moving. I'm fine.
You're perfectly fine.
Sorry. Stop making me paranoid, Wally. All right.
Just keep going.
So, all right. So I didn't love that one until it opened up like a month later. But it's interesting to see that Glenmorangie's taking these types of risks and experimenting. Because I feel like I know I'm doing a lot of hand movements.
No, but that's what they're known for, right? They're known for
So-
those experiments.
Yeah. I was excited. I really think that this is one that it's gonna be people are either gonna love it or hate it, and I want to see Wally go back to it in 1 month to see.
I think there's a reason why they didn't put this under the private edition regular Glenmo
It's not.
bottlings, even though it is not
Okay.
considered a private edition bottling,
Ooh.
even though it does fall under dessert finish. They just call this one a limited edition, and so that's I think that they're in the same boat over there. I think they knew, like, wait a minute, this isn't up to par.
So it's not
with
a
the
private edition. That's interesting.
Like, the Bacalta is not even my favorite, and the Alta wasn't even my favorite, but at least they had redeeming qualities where I could be like, okay, it was $100. I see what's going on here. It's interesting. But this one, yeah, even the Meal-Chan, exactly.
At $100, I thought that was a private edition, or the
No,
yeah.
it is not. It's just an
Wow.
expensive limited edition.
No, it's
So what's this year's? What was this
I
year's
don't
one?
love that.
Did they have a private edition this year?
I don't know. That's why I was asking.
Alta.
I thought it was this one.
I don't know. And One Glass Man, you're absolutely correct. Miami Wi-Fi, and no good. Eric, Eric
I know.
Eric is making a good point
Thank
there
you
about
for
the
understanding.
insane acidity as well as the sweetness. But Tokai has that, like, it's like rustic sauternes is what I get from Tokai.
I might have to ask you for a sample then, instead of me buying a bottle to save me a bit of money.
Want some Tokai? Or
No,
the cake?
the
Have
cake.
what you want.
Yeah,
I'll
w-
send it to you.
with you guys are
Okay.
talking about it, like, why don't we do a tasting about it and see what we get? It'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Good little episode.
Yeah, for
You cool
sure.
with that? Maybe get David up here too.
All right, Charles. What about?
Wait, that was just the first bottle I got.
Yeah, go, keep going.
Oh,
All right.
oh, whoops. I was-
Mr. Fancy today.
Second bottle I got, this came in the mail from William Grant and Sons. They sent me a bottle
Fistful
of
of
Fistful of Bourbon. I can see why Bianca drank half of it and got drunk on a podcast about it. Because if this is the level of, like, complexity in this bourbon, like coherent complexity, is crazy good. It's not a mind-blowing bourbon, but it's a complex bourbon at $22. Like,
It's smooth.
one of the things I love about Larceny is that it's not complex and that it's a $30 bourbon. But this at $22 actually is really good and mind blown.
For me,
That was surprising.
I think that's why they target it for the cocktail scene, right? It's okay
but it's-
to drink normal,
it's
but then you
good
can put it in
neat.
cocktails for $20.
It's good and neat. That's the crazy thing. Like, I
interesting.
don't even know if I'd make a cocktail with it.
It was
Did it-
good.
Do we know what distilleries they come from?
I need another bottle.
No, I did ask what Fistful of Terry, who's their national brand ambassador. I asked him about the 5 distilleries. He's not allowed to disclose, but you know,
Did he say more like, is it the Kentucky region or is it mix around? Like, where's
he
the?
would not tell
Wouldn't
me.
even tell you the round. Wow.
But I do like how it does have a little bit of rye notes, but this is the most balanced bourbon. If you just want a taste of rye notes without getting, like, annoying, you're not trying to get pickles. And it doesn't have.
Interesting.
It's actually really good. I was surprised.
All right, what's next menu on the third?
And the third bottle that I got this week is also going to make a show next week. I have a feeling about Hudson too.
I'm
this
worried
is gonna
about
make a
Hudson,
show.
man. I'm really worried about that.
Oh, Scotch fan says no more private editions. That makes me super sad because Alta was a bad note to
Ooh.
leave on. This last bottle, we'll see it next week because next
What?
week we're doing, like, the worst tasting whiskeys we've ever had. This is the first time I've had a whiskey that was so bad. I believe, and this will be in the Scotch tip video that's coming out soon. I believe that
That's awesome.
this whiskey, when my brother said garbage water, like, have you ever lived in an apartment and you know the dumpsters in the back when it rains, the nasty water in the bottom, so when you go throw your trash in that smell,
Yeah.
like, that's what this is.
Oh god,
That's gross, man.
That moldy,
That's gross.
nasty smell. Oh,
That's exactly what this is right here.
Gross.
So I don't know what's going on
You
with
like-
this. Oops.
what?
I don't know what's going on with this.
Let me see it.
What is it? Copper
Copper
Fox?
Fox?
Super Fox.
Copper Fox Rye.
Copper Fox. Okay.
I have no idea what's going on at this
Oh.
distillery, but this is literally, like, I've never been like, oh my gosh, this is the worst. Like, they're obviously, like, I talk trash about peated whiskeys,
Mhm.
but I would literally drink a bottle of Ardbeg 10 before I drink another ounce of, like,
That bad, eh?
Ardbeg 10 is delicious.
Ardbeg 10 is disgusting. I'd literally drink Lafroig,
It's
like,
so good. I love
10
it.
cast strength before I drank any more of this. Like, this tastes like garbage water, and it's so crazy because while we were sampling it and tasting it, I'm sitting there and I'm like, wait a minute, man, this does not taste good. And my brother's like, garbage water, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what this tastes like.
That's crazy, man. How that.
It's that bad. So, yeah.
So, Wally, I want to know the same question that Pierre is asking. Better bourbon, Fistful or Old Tub?
I've never had Old Tub, so I can't say. I'm not a giant bourbon person. I have no idea
we're gonna
what
have to
Old
have
Tub
it.
tastes like. And smooth.
know
I
that
love
one
using
was
the word
right.
smooth. I love using the
Or
word
is it like,
smooth
or
because it applies to more than tables. Eric, that's an interesting question. Whether or not it has cork taint, I could go buy another bottle and try it, but it does come with a synthetic cork, so I'm having a whole lot of doubts.
Yeah, I can see that.
So maybe
Oh, gosh.
plastic taint. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
human taint. I don't know what's going on.
So last week, we had a really interesting topic on whiskey grammar's transparency, and we actually had a nice comment that talked about the so Fred Hansen messaged last week saying the term influencer still sits bad with me, and I feel very outdated saying this, but the thought of someone thinking that they can make money by telling me what to buy leaves a sour taste in my mouth.
Not that we can make money, but people are like, that's what the industry has given us as names. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
It's like we just want to be. Most of us feel like more like bloggers than anything, and so the fact that the industry wants to call us Instagrammers
Yeah.
by giving us product and making us
No,
tell
influencers,
people
not
stuff,
Instagrammers, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the hard part. Like, I think when we went to Scotland, like, it was hard to tell, like, because of the fact that we had such great hospitality of going to places and people reaching us at the start and saying, like, oh, what do you guys do again? And we're just like, we tried to explain at the start, and they just like, we don't understand.
Instagram?
So they're just like, oh yeah, influencers. And I'm like, okay, fine. Like, it was hard because like when
guess.
you're trying to explain, like, oh, we just take photos, we give our opinions, you know, but they're like, oh, influencers or whatever, and that seems to be a bigger term. It seemed like it was just the easier way to say it. So
Yeah. Ooh,
But-
Clyde May, Alabama style that tastes like
it's
trash. I kind of want to
honestly-
try it.
What's the
Tuesday
difference
Gregor.
between a whiskey grammar and somebody just writing reviews, like we were saying, the bloggers? So I mean, it's still some sort of influence, just reading it in a different
Better
media.
pictures.
yeah,
pictures.
I would say yeah. That's basically
Yeah,
it. Better
we-
pictures.
Better
Just like
pictures,
what
less
better.
words.
Yeah.
Better.
It depends on the
It's very
person, but yeah.
different.
It depends on the person. Yeah, I mean, look at Ben's account. Look at Single Malt Alliance. Like better pictures,
That's
better words all
paragraphs.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
that's
just
what
personally
Ben
think
was known
it's the blog that evolved into an Instagram account. To be honest.
with better pictures.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't feel as though that
So,
art like I don't know about you guys, but is your like my goal is not to influence people. I'm just sharing my opinion. That's how I
Bingo.
see it.
My thing is,
I don't know
I
about you
love
guys.
sharing my honest opinion because, like, I want to be able to say that. Even if Glenmo had sent me Tail of Cake, which I'm glad they didn't, even if they had sent me a bottle, I would have still been honest. Like, just like the exact opposite is Fistful of Bourbon. Like, I never expected a $22 bottle of bourbon to even be decent, and it's good.
Yeah.
Like,
Likewise.
I spent $50 for Copper Fox for a mystery whiskey, and I thought most of the
I agree.
mystery whiskeys we've done, 50 and under, have been decent at least. I found a few favorites under 20, but like this one, $47 for something that tastes like garbage water. Like,
Yeah, and that's where I feel as though that you follow an influencer, you follow a personality that matches your palate, and then you move on from there.
Yeah, it helps. And
I
the
agree.
goal, like,
Yeah.
again, it's like
But-
saving money, right?
Yeah.
Well, I want to actually say something, add on to what Charles just said. Follow somebody who has your palate. I think also it's good to follow people that don't have your palate, so you kind of learn from their perspective as well.
Sure.
So I try to have people who I don't necessarily agree with everything they say, but I respect what they post or respect what I read because I know they're like what we used last week, transparent or being honest. I don't feel like necessarily influenced because I maybe tried some of the recommendations and didn't really like it, but you just gotta learn that way too.
Yeah. I like that idea too. Christian said the only time he's ever been influenced was for the Alba. And we all needed to be influenced for the Alba.
I need to try
There
that.
are very few whiskeys
I've
that
never
like
tried it.
immediately when I try them, I'm like, listen to me, you need to go buy. I've already killed a bottle.
Yeah, ask
And
Walter. He's saying
everybody
something.
knows, like, I don't drink like that much. And for me to have killed a bottle of Alba and already have two in the wing, like, and one's already cracked, like, I can't explain how good the apple pie is. Like, God, it's so good.
All right, guys. Before we run out of time, because I think we can go on this forever.
Okay, yeah, we did not do well today.
Yeah.
So our topic is basically tasting notes. Like, are we tasting this? Like, I feel as though that this is something that's really good. We can kind of start off this and then kind of move on to other topics down in the future. So, oh, actually,
go
wait,
first?
sorry.
So excited.
2 seconds.
Can I go
Bianca
first?
did have an event that she might have talked about tasting notes. So, Bianca, can you talk about your event real quick?
Okay, so the event really quickly was interesting because I don't know, people who know me know that I pretty much bunker down most of the time. I'm home, and then very few times do I go out. Yesterday I went out was one of those exceptions, and it's like a multi-sensory experience now. Like you go out, you're like people, like you get close to them. Do you want to sit in the same room? It's crazy for me.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not the case for everyone, but for me it is. So a lot of what I experienced during this tasting event probably was also impacted by that as well. But I enjoyed it. It had to be indoors, which for me was shocking because I was expecting to be outdoors.
Yep.
Because it was kind of humid and rainy Miami weather. So what was interesting was only about 10 of us, and the Brown Foreman team invited what they considered influencers, but they're really people who are purchasing high value or high ticket whiskey bottles and spirits. It was a great way to meet other people in Miami that I hadn't met before that do this because I love meeting like-minded people. But the one thing that I didn't like that took away from my experience of which was the ultimate goal of this event was to taste the Kingsmen.
Yep.
Was that they gave us too many different lines of their high end of each of their brands. So, for instance, we had a high end Herradura tequila. We had a very high end Old Forester, the 150. We had before that we had Glendronach 12 and 15 at the bar. And
It's
then
a lot already.
There was another one I forgot. They had Sinatra as well. I don't know if you guys probably joined me for the live stream.
Was that a Jack Daniels one?
Because we had the 150, yeah. So that's one of my favorite Jack Daniels, but they contrasted each other so much that it kind of took away from the experience, which normally I would enjoy if I had more time and it was to enjoy, but it was only an hour and a half. So my biggest takeaway was I love the tequila was like probably the standout of the whole evening for me, even more so than the Glendronach Kingsman, believe it or not. But my thing was that the 150, the Old Forester 150, was so rich and so sweet and so much. It was its barrel strength that it overpowered the following item, which was finally the supposedly star of the night, the Kingsman. So that was the only thing of the takeaway from that experience that I really felt like if I could give them some feedback, I would say don't do that if you actually want one standout whiskey, if you want something to complement each other. However, with that being said, the Kingsman, oh my gosh, it was hands down one of the best Glendronachs I've had. And I love Glendronach. People who know me know that I can't say it's my favorite distillery because it changes, but I thought it was one of the best whiskeys I've ever had. It was definitely very much in line with their typical well done cherry cask. It was Oloroso cherry, which it's definitely one of my favorite type of cask to mature whiskey in. So I really recommend if anybody has a chance to try it, try it.
Interesting.
I would try it.
I would try it just to see what it's like, but man, putting a tequila at the start though, that's weird. Right?
I think all of that is
what's
too
funny?
much
It was
sensory
so
overload. Poor flight management. I agree with Gregor on this
It
one.
was.
Yeah, I think they could have done better.
To answer, Dram Dude, have any of us have Alba Batch 2? Batch 2? The only person I know who has one is Steve. I have not even seen it yet here where I am.
Gotcha. But yeah, so since we only got a few more minutes, I think this episode's gonna be a bit longer than our usual episode. Tasting notes. So Bianca, since we're still on that topic of what you guys had, did you guys have any tasting notes? Did you have any guidance? Did you have any people guiding you through it?
We did have some tasting notes. It was mostly based on the story behind the Kingsmen, the age,
like the movie and stuff.
So the taste, I can't remember, to be honest with you. That was probably my fault. I kind of once I just went into just tasting and going off of my own experience. I wasn't really too engaged with that part, which is bad. I was just enjoying what I was given. Yeah.
That's a big
So
part
I
of those
wish I
events
could give
anyway.
you
Yeah.
like a whole thing of tasting notes. They are gonna send me a sample, an extra sample, which I'm really excited about. And I really appreciate. I don't want to think like I'm talking poorly about the team. I think they do a great job, but I think I'm excited to try that alone. Try the Kingsman. So I don't want to go into the actual tasting notes part.
Yeah, and that's a perfect segue, right? So like with, I guess we can go down the list. Like, how do we do taste notes? So Wally, do you sit alone? Do you go with friends? Like, how do you start off with tasting notes? If someone says, hey, here's a bottle, I want to know your notes.
I am boring. I always go sit in the same place. I normally grab a regular Glencairn. I sit in the same room in the same part of my house that smells the same way all the time. I leave the fan running on level 1 every single time, and then once I sit down, like I just start nosing like crazy. As long as the notes are like kind of, there'll be obvious notes off at first, and then I try to like nose for other things, let it go. It's gonna take a minute or two, maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then I try to get the first sip out of the way, especially if I haven't had any alcohol in the day. Take the first sip, get the alcohol out of the way, because your tongue is gonna get anesthetized, your taste buds are gonna get overwhelmed at first, especially if it's something high proof. I mean, even at 40%, it's a lot for somebody who's been drinking Diet Coke and water all day. So you get right into it, and then start tasting. And then it's funny because Kevin just said, like, every taste of whiskey where you recognize strong flavors or scents, but you can't place them. That's a matter of practice, unfortunately. It's like really odd, familiar flavors. Then you just start thinking, like, what is this? What is this? What is this? And then half the time it's your own memory, your olfactory memory that'll kick in, and you'll be like, oh, this reminds me of blah, blah, blah. And that's what you get to. So get that first sip out of the way. To me, it's not one to judge by. So you'll go through the whole thing. You might get extra notes on the finish, and then repeat the process. But the second time you do it, your tongue's already primed. You're already ready to go. And to me, that feels more like, okay, let's get this done. Then I start taking notes.
What about Bianca? What about you? How do you do to your taste notes?
So really quickly on the comment that Kevin mentioned. So I was reading this book a year ago by Heather Green that's brings up that really important term, which I love, is olfactory receptor interference, which is normal. So it's like when you have a tasting note right in the tip of your tongue, but you can't really, it's back there. It wants to come out, but you can't really connect it. We get like this weird amnesia sometimes whenever we're doing tastings, and we know we've tasted it before, but we can't. It, like Wally said, it takes practice, and I try to do that. When I listen to him, when I listen to Charles, to other friends, discussing their tasting notes and realizing, yes, that's what I need to start saying. That's what I need to start connecting, because not because they influenced me to say it, but it makes sense in my memory, in my mind.
The dangerous part.
So the way that I like to do it, honestly, I like. What?
The dangerous part about that is
sorry?
like autosuggestion.
Yeah, that's what I want to get into later.
Yeah, I know.
But we can kind of go on that.
Yeah. So okay.
Good.
So the way that I do the tasting, is I like to have it with food. I like to have my whiskeys with food. I do try to taste it plain alone before, but I always like to see how it tastes with my favorite items. So I like to enjoy it.
Okay.
I do. I know you don't like that, Wally. I like to be like right now. I'm tasting this. I mean, for the first time, I'll try it by myself, but I do like to see how it complements something that
that's
I want
interesting.
to eat and enjoy, because I like to have my whiskeys as a addition, or not addition, just part of my everyday. I don't like it to be like,
aren't you worried that the food you're eating?
I think it's great.
You're not worried the food you're eating is going to influence heavily like the type of flavors that you're tasting. Like if you eat a sweeter, you're going to miss sweeter notes in the whiskey. If you
it does. No, it does. It definitely does. I don't do it all the time. I try to do it neat at first when I start before I eat, and then I'd like to see how it enhances. So it's just, I like to see my whiskey like people see their wine.
That's her preference, man.
I like to have it like that. Yeah. What about you, Charles?
Yeah. So for me, I don't say I'm kind of like Wally. I don't limit everything around my space. I do have a room, so this is the room. So I usually sit here, or usually in a dining room. But yeah, I don't like turn off my fan or do anything crazy like that. I do watch what I eat, or at least I eat and then be like, maybe I can't taste something like this today. Like, if I have like instant noodles or something strong flavor, salty stuff, I don't even think about tasting or writing down notes. I usually have, if there's something comparable, let's say for instance, it's a bottle in the series, I'll bring the other bottles out as well. Try to compare and get those notes. Sometimes it's hard for me to pull any flavors out. Like, so it's like, having something to compare, go, this one's saltier, this one's peatier, this one's different, so you can kind of pull those things out, having that baseline. For bourbons, I usually have a baseline bourbon and then kind of compare it to that. But a lot of the times it's basically sit alone, kind of put some nice music on, and then just like the first sip, kind of dump it out, don't even think about it, like Wally mentioned with the alcohol, and then just trying to work my way from there. And sadly, I have to pull a lot of memories out too, and this is what I want to talk about as well, is like, you're not tasting, like, for instance, pineapples in this one. No one put pineapples in this whiskey, so you're pulling a flavor memory out there, and I think that's the key thing.
Slice it?
It's, hold on. Two things real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Gregor in comments said confidence is a big hurdle for early note taking.
I agree.
So I feel like maybe with some beginners, but once you understand that everybody's palate is different and what you can pick up can be different from day to day, food choices, whatever. Like once you understand that, then you can have all the confidence in the world, because whatever you're tasting that day is that day. Like it's not changing. Your brain is still processing what you're tasting.
I think it's hard because like what people are talking about is like, you know, if you're a newbie to it and some person says I'm tasting chocolate from Tanzania with salt, I'm like, you get intimidated.
Right. You can, because those people are tying it to very specific memories.
That's what Wally does that.
There you go.
Do tie it to certain memories sometimes. Like
Wally's that person.
Okay, so I just tied the wee beastie to a memory I had of growing up as a kid in Florida.
Yep.
So can
Never
it
grew
be
up in
done?
Florida.
Absolutely. Because I tasted the pine needles that I ate in Florida, because we learned in this stupid class called Nature's Classroom how to eat the protein off of pine needles by pulling the caps off and eating the greens.
Okay.
And so, like, because I learned to do that in a stupid,
Never done that.
because I learned to do that in a stupid class in Florida.
You sure it's
when
a
I was
class,
kid,
dude? Not just like you by
I
yourself?
remember the taste of like pine needles, and so wee beastie was like heavy in pine needles.
Gotcha.
Like it's important to tie it to certain memories, but it's only a frame of reference for you when you tie it to a very specific memory.
Yep.
Also, Gregor, like I do smoke cigars, but not with whiskey. Ironically, I only do it with rum or with. Bourbon,
Yeah, I
boring.
personally do it a
won't
lot
do it
more with rum too. I don't know,
won't do it
Bianca. What
with,
about
like,
you?
complex whiskeys.
Cigars and stuff. Do you drink or no?
Cigars? I actually like it with coffee and water.
All right, there you go.
I don't actually like.
What kind of water?
I'm-
Bubbly water or regular water?
Ugh, Eric.
Just regular, like.
Oh, you got to try it with
Green
bubbly water, man.
water.
You got to go carbonated water.
Oh, bubbly water, yes, yeah, bubbly. I couldn't. Sorry, you cut off
Love
my
bubbly water.
Miami Wi-Fi.
Fine.
We're in
All right, and
So
go ahead.
here's the thing. So Eric just said never taste notes while bungee jumping. I totally agree. But you just said I forget the term for the chemistry that does create certain. Here's the thing, and I know you guys are like, oh, there's no pineapples in here, but the esters and aldehydes that make up flavor compounds that we do taste are present. And so finding your reference points for what those things taste like is very important, because those are real.
It's a reference
nobody
points.
cut-
But if you
nobody
never
cut a
tasted a
pineapple in
pineapple
there.
before, how would you know?
If you had never tasted pineapple before, you would just describe it as some other flavor. You wouldn't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so when people say these certain things, it's tied to them, right?
That speaks
It's
more.
totally tied to them, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But it speaks more to like a person's ability to remember the food and things that they eat. If you're, I'm sorry, I have a lot of boring white friends who are into chicken nuggets, French fries, and
What's wrong with
ketchup
chicken
as a
nuggets
favorite
and-
condiment. Only
that?
chicken nuggets, French fries. Like we could go to a bougie
Barbecue
restaurant
sauce,
that's
though.
making freaking,
Or sweet
you
and
know,
sour.
raw scallops, raw spicy scallops,
Mhm.
and like they
Yeah.
would never ever try it. And there's the thing, like if you aren't already experimental in your foods, tasting experimental things in whiskeys that you don't recognize is going to be much more difficult, just because you don't have a frame of reference. So does that mean, like, I love sweetbreads? It's my brother calls it the rich man's chicken nuggets, but the thing is, it's thymus glands. I know, Charles. It's thymus
Oh
glands.
no,
and, like,
I accidentally pressed
bougie
something.
way to get like the flavor of essentially a chicken finger, and they're super delicious. But the thing is, if you don't ever try other things out of your wheelhouse, you're not going to experiment. And I would venture to say that the people who aren't experimenting in food probably aren't experimenting in really good whiskey either.
Yeah, they're not the ones like going down trying to figure out what tasty notes they're getting from different whiskeys. They're doing shots, maybe. Maybe I'm generalizing, but that's what I would assume.
They're doing
If you're not taking the-
schnapps shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Which is
think
fine.
that's what's
their-
great. Like,
yeah.
people like what Bianca and what do you call it, Drew are doing with the food tasting, and when she mentioned that adding, like, that's what they do, and I think that's great, like enhancing certain things. I understand with
Sure.
on a
Yeah, it's just my
tasting,
thing.
yeah, and I think it's great. Like, I'm kind of interested in that, like especially with chocolates right now. Like, I've been wanting to pair more whiskeys with chocolates and stuff, but
Oh,
My audio is
so
choppy.
good.
I was hearing Bianca's
100%
audio.
recommend.
yeah, no, and I think that's where it is. Like, one thing that I want everyone to kind of walk away from this conversation is basically the fact that, hey, if you're tasting something, don't let anyone knock you down and say you're not tasting that. You know, like if someone says I taste pineapples, you don't. That's fine. Then you don't taste it. Maybe there's certain layers. You know, some whiskeys are very complex where it takes ages to pull something out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like peat where it's on top.
Like,
you know what? One tasting note. Oh, sorry.
Go.
You know what? One tasting note. Sorry, just that always drives me nuts because I've never had it, and people always freaking mention it. Maybe it's a Latina thing. I don't know. Marzipan. What the hell is marzipan?
Have you ever had marzipan? It's almond paste. It's almond paste, and it's so freaking sweet and delicious. Holy crap! You can buy it in the grocery store, and a little ball you can roll up, and you eat pieces of it, which is not appropriate, but it tastes so good. Marzipan.
Listen, I need to try marzipan.
It's so good. It's just sweet almond paste. I can't even say
it.
Marzipan.
And I think that's what you have to do, right?
Everybody in the whiskey world knows about it.
I think it's just because it's a very European thing too. So.
Yeah, get some bougie European food in your stomach.
Marzipan.
And I think that's the best way. If you're trying to start out, you know, find those one-note types of whiskeys, then you can concentrate on that, and then start trying as much food as possible. I think that's the biggest thing.
Confidence.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I feel embarrassed. It's like, I've been to events where like the newbies pull out stuff that you never heard of, and you're like, wow, I never thought about that. And so be vocal.
It does taste like yuzu.
But it's not just food. It's not just food. Also, like taking the elements. Remember, you know,
there you
the
go, Greg.
past
Thanks.
And the terroir and everything that takes it into account. It's a huge factor. Like literally stop and smell the roses. Stop and smell the wet grass. Stop and smell the rain.
I'm actually gonna. I'm at the point where I'm getting annoyed with that. I hear terroir now in whiskeys so much now. I'm like, I kind of want it to stop.
Dang, everybody in chat has had marzipan.
Okay, I really like this, by the way.
You need to get some for Bianca then.
Okay, you know what?
You can go to Whole Foods and get marzipan. It's not hard.
There you go.
I don't have a Whole Foods in my area of Miami.
You need to move to a different area. Better internet, marzipan.
She's got like Publix better internet.
Better internet, marzipan. There you go.
Publix and you're good to go.
Trader Joe's. You know what? I'm gonna go to Trader Joe's.
Ooh,
Trader Joe's will definitely
fancy
have
marzipan.
They'll definitely have marzipan.
Okay.
How was that Jura, by the way? How do you enjoy that?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's not peated. I'm super excited. Thank you so much, Wally, for bringing this. Is honestly, I'm drinking this. This is so good. It's
Aloha.
I don't know if my memory's being impacted by the tasting notes that you guys were recalling, but it definitely has a little bit of pineapple in it.
Pineapple? Sweetness?
That's what I'm getting right now.
Other suggestions, son of.
Yeah, it's a little bit sweet.
And then, real quick, let's talk about that since we got a few minutes. If you guys ever do tasting notes, do you guys ever look at other people's or listen to other people's comments after? I know I do.
Only if I can't make out notes, or if I just bought a brand new bottle and afterwards see where I am versus the distillery.
What about you, Bianca?
I do. I mean, I don't. I did it initially. The only reason why I do it is to honestly to better my way of communicating what I'm recalling. I don't do it to change what I actually taste. I do it like, oh wow, they described it in a more eloquent or elegant way. I want different pointers, not because I want it to, actually necessarily be in line with what I was tasting. Everybody tastes things differently for the most part, and so you can't. That's not possible.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's just like after I've done all my notes, wrote them down and stuff like that. I like to hear other people's suggestions. Like, oh, they picked up this. Let me see if I can find it. I kind of like to hunt for those things and be like, oh, no, I didn't find it. Or I actually put a caption on the bottom saying like, oh, after listening.
I don't.
Guess it's just me then. All right.
I do that too.
No,
any other?
I feel bad.
Fine.
No, I don't.
Don't feel bad. That's just the way you do it. Like I do it, Any other comments that you guys want to address before we sign out? You guys can see him there. Great talk, by the way, guys. Thank you guys so much for chatting.
Oh, wait, Gregor said Jura. I wasn't sure who drinks it. Bianca does.
Yeah, she does. And
all right.
The new Chris saying the new Jura 10.
What's it? The triple cast, right? Was it triple cast or triple? Double cast. That was decent.
Good?
The new Jura 10?
No. The one that we tried in San Fran. Was it the double cast or triple? Triple wood.
Oh, no. Wait, I'm thinking of Vegas. Vegas was 7-wood. 7-wood was fantastic too.
Oh no, maybe it was a 7-wood.
7-wood's got like white chocolate note.
I think that was like out of the 4. I think that was the only one that I liked.
That's the only one I bought.
Jura. Yeah. But yeah,
30.
I need to.
Yeah, I do have to kind of I kind of want to try them more. A lot of people dislike Jura, so I kind of want to get into it. So.
Do it.
All right. What else? Anything else, guys? But yeah, thank you guys so much for the chat. It was great.
No.
What do we say on this show? Does Bianca know?
If you don't like, oh right, that's what I meant.